You're listening to the Career Musician Podcast with creator and host, Nomad. With 20 plus years of experience in the music industry, Nomad has done just about everything to earn a living as a career musician. From being music director to celebrity artists, playing iconic arenas and stadiums, composing for film and TV, and even playing your average local club gigs, he's done it all. Nomad's mission is to empower musicians across the globe with strategies for a sustainable career while blasting stereotypes, and to bring you tried and true wisdom from his colleagues in this crazy business we call music.
Welcome to the Career Musician Podcast with yours truly, Nomad. Today, often touted as R&B's best kept secret, although I disagree, because if you don't know who this man is, then you have literally been sleeping under a rock. KEM, that's right, platinum selling KEM, gold selling KEM, Grammy noms KEM, NAACP Image Awards KEM, 5 #1 singles KEM. This man has done it all, and I've had the pleasure of working with him both in the studio and behind the camera. Let me tell you, this episode is a treat, folks. Check it out right here on the Career Musician Podcast with hashtag Community by KEM himself. We are super excited to have you here on the Career Musician. We welcome KEM.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, wow. Okay. I've been doing some research, quite a lot to cover. I'll try to be, as expeditious as possible so I don't bore you, but man, you have accomplished so much, multi-platinum selling albums, gold, platinum selling, 3 Grammy nominations, 4 NAACP Image Awards, 5 #1 singles, several sold out shows all over the world, a couple which I've had the pleasure of being there with you.
Yeah.
Just your story in general is so inspiring. The fact that you have built your career literally from the ground up on your own, that serves as an inspiration to me, and I think to everybody listening will be able to really appreciate the fact that, wow, we truly can, as human beings, do whatever we set our minds to do.
Yeah. I think that there's some truth in that for sure.
What an inspiration. Let's talk a little bit about your history, growing up, I guess, in Detroit. Is that right?
Well, I was born in Nashville, and my family left Nashville when I was probably 4 years old, and then we moved to Detroit. So I've got some Nashville roots, as well as some Motown roots as well. You know what I'm saying?
Both music cities. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I did a stint in Nashville for about 8 years, but that was a while ago as well. All right. And then you found yourself making your first album and selling it out of the trunk of your car. I love that. We've all heard that before. Sometimes you think, oh man, that never really happened. But tell us about that. What was that like?
Yeah, my first album, Chemistry, those were the good old days. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was really an exhilarating time. That's when independent retailers were, plentiful. The mom and pop record shops. Right. I had been trying to get a record deal since I was a teenager, and always going the proverbial route of creating demo tapes with, either myself or with a band or other people, and then packaging them up and sending them off to labels and talking to people. I did that dance for a long time. Right. So when I got ready to record the Chemistry CD, the Chemistry album, I still call them albums. I actually I recorded the Chemistry album. There was a live version that we did at a coffee house in Detroit. You know, I was like, this is the most expeditious way to make an album, is to bring some live musicians together and just play these songs, you know, and then put this music out. And that was the plan. But as it turned out, I didn't like the recording. So I didn't like the recording. And so I squashed the plans of releasing that recording as an album. But copies of it got out, and people were in the city were vibing to this record. They were vibing to this music, you know, and then I started doing shows and I would do shows. I would do shows, man, performing my own music. I didn't do any covers. It would just be the songs that I had written, and like nobody, you know, a lot of them gigs, man, nobody knew who is this cat? You know, you talking about sweating.
So that's huge. So let's unpack that for a minute. Yeah. First of all, like, it seems like, I'm so glad you brought that up. It seems like every band or artist who's ever created their own stuff always start with covers.
Right.
What set it in your mind? Okay, I'm not going to do covers. How did you formulate that?
Because I hire great musicians. I'm not a, and I sang in a wedding band for a long time.
Okay.
And probably for about 4 or 5 years, of course, doing covers. But when I was, you know, that's weddings and bat mitzvahs, and, you know, those are the real musicians, right? I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. Those are the cats, right, that are working 4 sets a night, you know, 20-minute breaks. You know what I'm saying? For grind. You know, and you know, that's the grind. And then getting up and going to their other job for 8 hours, you know, the next day. That's the real grind. But you know, I didn't do covers. You know, I just didn't do covers. And you know, I found a lot of places a lot of opportunity where people would let me sit and play my songs. Some of those gigs were paid gigs, and some of them were, you know, chicken wing gigs, and some of them were, you know, just, I'm happy to be here to, you know, to sing these songs for you. And dude, literally, there was at one point in the very beginning, is like I had 5, maybe 6 original songs, and I had it was a quartet. There was just a rhythm section, bass, drums, and keys, and guitar. And I had 4 songs. We played 4 songs all night. The first set would be, dig it, man. Look, the first set would be, we would sing, we would play these songs, these 5 songs, and they would be instrumentals, and everybody would take a solo. And then the second set we came on, I would actually sing the songs, right? And then the restaurant would turn over, and then we would do the same thing. Do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I really like the fact
it didn't seem brilliant at the time.
Yeah, but now looking back, you say, wow, you know, look at how far you've come. And I think that's really smart to separate church and state, so to speak, in a creative manner. Sure. When I'm in the wedding band, I do all these covers. I do that. I make a little money. But when I'm doing my artistry, I'm just going to do my artistry.
Right.
I think there is brilliance in that.
Right. Yeah. And looking back, all those things work together. So I'm doing these gigs, and this CD is circulating from this live gig. And so now I'm doing shows, and I hit the first few chords of a song, and then the audience is singing it back to me. You know what I'm saying? They're starting the song, and I'm not starting the song. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Like, what's happening now? You know what I'm saying? Wow. People have been listening, have been vibing to this recording that I didn't think was good enough. And they've been vibing with it, you know, and they know this music, you know what I'm saying? And now Kim is in Detroit, and Kim is a vibe, you know. But I would eventually go into the studio and re-record those songs and release them on my own label and press up CDs myself and sell them out of my car and put them on consignment and go to the one stops myself. And, I would eventually get to that place, but it all started, that's how that ball got rolling. Yeah.
So this is perfect, because as artists, we always talk about the first time we've heard our song on the radio, right?
Right.
And it's just, it blows you away. You're kind of enamored, right? But then also there's the other side of the artist that were perfectionists. So
right.
Like you just said it, you said songs that I didn't think were good enough. I play 3-4 notes or chords and the audience is singing it back to me. Right. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the perfectionism, gene that's in you and in many artists, and how you are able to mitigate that on a daily, because sometimes it can be self-inhibiting, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And it has been, but I think that, when I made my first album, I wanted to create a project that could that was sitting on the shelves next to whoever was out at that time. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like you're not in competition once you get a record deal. You're in competition. The competition starts when you're making the record. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right.
Your record has to be my record has to be as good as Face's record. It's got to be as good as Luther's record. It's got to be as good as Anita's record. It's got to be good as Lionel's records. Oh. It's got to be good as Prince and Mike. It's got to be able to sit. Now, we can always debate whether I ever actually reach that goal, or you may not feel that way about my music. I may not feel that way about it, but
oh no, you have. In my opinion, you have.
Yeah, that's where you're going, right? Right. That's the bar.
And that analogy to physical shelf space. Back in the day, it used to be on shelves, the album or the CD. So, and you literally would be sitting next to those other artists. Right. So I love that visual. Because now, although we don't have that physical shelf, we still have the visual. Right.
And I feel, and so when I'm recording, I work at a high level. I mean, you've done sessions. You've weathered my abuse in the studio.
But you know what? That's all part of it, and I'm so glad you said that, because I talk about studio etiquette all the time. And as a career musician, if you're there to play an instrument, so I wear different hats, but when I'm wearing the hat of session musician and I'm there to collaborate with an artist and a producer, I am there to facilitate your dream, your vision, help facilitate it. And if you, the artist and or producer, or any combination thereof, asks me to do something, it is my obligation to do my best to make that happen. Yeah. That's just the truth of it. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how much, how painstaking it is to get there. The idea is we have to get there no matter what.
Right. And at the end of the day, dude, I have to like what's coming back through the speakers,
That's right.
And I'll do whatever it takes. It's not, so I don't necessarily see it as perfectionism. I see it as process. I see it as I need to do whatever it takes in order to like what's coming out of those speakers. I got to do whatever it takes. So if that means, and my musicians think they got it bad, dude, when I'm cutting vocals, and cats don't know, they're like, I'm not just, an artist who is, going in and then singing it down and then I'm leaving and the producer. No, I'm involved in every aspect. So I'm editing my own vocals. You know what I'm saying? I'm editing the drums. I'm editing the bass. I'm editing when you send me your track, I'm the one who's, moving this, you know what I'm saying? So,
nice.
Whatever it takes in order for me to like what's coming out of the speakers, that's what I'm willing to do, whatever it takes. Yeah.
Right. But once again, I think there's a lot of wisdom in this. You're able to separate the two. You're acting as a producer and an artist on one side, but on the other side, you're listening objectively as a consumer of the music, right?
Right.
So you're kind of listening with untainted ears.
Right.
a clean slate, a blank palette, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go in biased, oh, I know this joint is good. This is so good. I love it. You're already kind of starting in not so good of a space. Right.
Yeah. If I don't love it, I don't put it out.
Right. Right.
You know, if I don't love it, if I don't love it, I don't even flush it out. You know what I'm saying? I gotta love what it is, you know? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So is it true? Like, you know, we can go on your website and everywhere else online and check out some of your story. So you did finance this first album, Chemistry, on credit, on like a credit card.
American Express. Yeah.
I love that.
Man. It's, you know,
again, I always talk about that faith, man.
Dude, look here. We're going to make it's, you know, and that is what it is. You know, it's believing in yourself. And I didn't, you know, and I think that, for those of us who are privileged to be career musicians, you know, I think that we're living in our purpose. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're supposed to be doing. And I think that there is something in us that knows that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just mama said you play good in the living room, or, you know, your mother will sing for everybody. Come on in here and sing for everybody. Come on in here. It's not that. You know what I'm saying? It's like there is, you know, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. At what level, how it shakes out, I don't know. But like, I know that this is whatever I got to do in order to make that happen. And so American Express, you know, had obviously mistaken me for somebody with good credit.
But you made it happen, man. You made it happen. That proactive approach, that's what you need to do. Yeah.
You know, if you're not willing to put everything that you have, put your credit, put your FICO score, your money, your resources behind your dream, then why would you expect anybody else to sign up for it?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
So true. Yeah. And then Motown gets wind of you crushing it in Detroit, like you said.
Yeah.
Now you're developing a local fan base, which obviously then spread. But so did you go to Motown? Did Motown come to you? How did that transpire?
Motown called us. You know, my manager at the time, Toya Hankins, was, you know, we were grassroots grinding. You know, we were, you know, it was an incredible time. We had we were selling records in Detroit, in Chicago. I was selling them online. Nice. We had airplay in Miami, Hot 105 in Miami, Derek Brown and, you know, WHUR. And so we were on the radio. You know, I was getting publishing checks. But let's talk about that, because as an indie artist, doing a radio campaign and having your publishing straight, those are two big steps that a lot of, you know, emerging artists kind of they missed the mark on that. So tell me how you did that. Tell us. I read a lot, you know, you know, and I'm not a voracious reader, but I just wanted to know, you know, I needed to know what BMI was, and I needed to know, you know, I understood that, like, you know, from conception, you know, as far as publishing, like I own this, you know, this intellectual property. I needed to know how to put a barcode, get my own barcode, my own company, my own LLC, and figure out how to get a barcode that belonged to me, so I could put it on this record, so that when I do take it into these stores and it gets scanned, you know, that shows up somewhere. You know, I needed to, you know, all of that stuff, man. And like, and I wasn't, and it was by default, dude. I wasn't, you know, a record executive. You know, I didn't hold an MBA. You know, I was just, that information was out there, and it's like, okay, so what do I need to do next? You know, what else? What do I need to do next? What's the next thing? It's like one foot, you know, in front of the other. And you know, and Toya was very instrumental in networking and shipping out, you know, packages to the labels. We did do that.
Right.
But we weren't waiting, You know what I'm saying? It was like we put the music in the hands of the people. You know, we let the people drove everything. The people, if you have something that people dig, you know, industry will follow. You know what I'm saying?
Man, you said so much right there. I mean, I want to unpack some of that because, wow, first of all, you recognize that it's IP, intellectual property, which so many people fail to understand that that's what it is. Okay, once you recognize that, then you said, all right, what are the channels that I have to go through in order to get this into the hands of the fans, the people, like you said? Okay, so that's the second thing. And then you self-educated. And that's what it takes. And I don't care if you did this, I believe you did this in the early 2000s, right?
Early 2000s, yeah.
Right. So I don't care if you did it then or if you're doing it 20 years later. Sure, some of the methods have changed. Some of the, you know, distribution and things have changed. But the principles remain the same.
The principles are the same. Yeah.
And what a message, man. So that's why I keep hitting in on this, because I'm like, I know there's artists out there that need to hear this. Yeah. Again, beautifully executed in your business plan, you know.
Right. The business plan, right. The business plan, right.
Right. I know it's one foot in front of the other, but essentially,
we intellectualize it, man. But it's really, you know, but it's,
I get it.
You know, there was no plan. It was just kind of like, you know, this is what I need to do next. You know,
right.
It's understanding all of the elements, and for those things that I don't understand or don't have a handle on, knowing that having somebody to call who does, you know, and you know, and it's still a learning process because it's different now. You know, I mean, the principles are the same, but the you know, there aren't, obviously, you know, you can't buy a CD or you can't buy an album, you know, damn near anywhere, right? I mean, they're you know, so. But the principle is the same, dude. If you're on, whether you're on Spotify or Tidal or wherever, you know, your whatever platform, if somebody hears your music and they dig it, you know, it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If people dig the music, man, then, you know, it all boils down to people loving what you do.
I love that. And then, but then the other side of this is you took what you gambled on. You took that product and then you started a radio campaign so you could monetize that and collect the publishing of what you held on your own. Bro, again, I'm telling you this, sure, it sounds like, I'm just doing it, you know, out of necessity, but bro, you really worked this out because now those publishing checks are helping support you as an artist to help you create your next work and so forth. It just perpetuates itself. Right.
You
know, so, I mean, execution to the T, you know.
Yeah. Those were the good old days.
I know.
It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know,
the good new days now.
The good new days. Yeah.
Let's talk about touring. So then you hook up with Motown. I guess you get a 5-album deal. Is that right? Initially with them, and then you start hitting the road to support all the beautiful art you're creating. You were used to gigging because you were gigging around the Detroit area, you said, you know. Yeah. But when you go on tour as your own artist for the first time, talk about that. That must have been exciting.
It was exciting, and it was stressful. You know, I mean, there's a lot, right? Because there's it's one thing, you know, to be singing in a club or, you know, on a festival, you know, locally, which is great work, and it's not, you know, I mean, you know, I cut my teeth in the wedding band and you know, sang in church choirs. I mean, it's one thing to do that. It's a whole other thing when your name is on the sign. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Your name is on the sign, and you are the guy in front, and you are the guy or the girl, you know, who's responsible for filling these seats, you know, and you are the, you know, I mean, it's, you know, it's a lot, you know, and it was fun, and it was exhilarating, and it still is, you know, exhilarating in a lot of ways. It was you know, it was simple in the fact that, you know, I had one album, and the people, you know, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from a live performance is that the audience wants you to win. We be thinking like the audience, we got to go out here and like, beat the audience up to get them to like us. You know what I'm saying? But the audience bought the ticket because they want you to win. They came to see you win. So
wow.
You know what I'm saying? You're starting off with the leg up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is Motown recording artist KEM, and you're listening to The Career Musician with Nomad.
Be sure to like, follow, share, and comment on Instagram and Facebook.
Download, subscribe, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast platforms.
That's a great way to frame it.
Yes. You know, you didn't bought the ticket, so they're ready to see you. So you can, you should be able to relax just a little bit.
Right?
You know right. With those first shows, man, it was like, on my first album, I played all the keyboards. It was just, the production was keyboards, bass, drums, and guitar, and some horns. So like, I'm playing all the keyboards, so I never got up. I sat in the middle of the stage on my motif, and I sang these songs off of my first album, and people, and it was me. It was the guy, and I think that was really what really set us up to be able to do so well, doing shows, because I was just the guy who you've been listening to at your desk or in your car or while you were cleaning your house. It was just that guy. It was no frill, no dancers, ain't no light show. It was just that guy is just sitting down here and he's just singing these songs that we love, Wow. And over the years, it evolved. I evolved as an artist, and the songs evolved, and I wanted to put a band together that, and we were opening up, so I wasn't really carrying, the whole thing. But in order to carry the whole thing, it had to change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta,
that's right.
That energy, it has to peak in the right places. It has to, get and chill out in the right places. And you got to hit certain songs, and you learn what works and what doesn't work. And, so the show has changed over the years. I wanted to be able to go on before or behind, anybody.
Right.
So we, which we, that's the plan. There's some people you just don't want to go on after.
Yeah. But let's talk about that. So funny you mentioned that, because we were on tour together. I was with Babyface and you were with yourself. Amazing. Bro, your show is so on point. Like the last show I saw was this year. Last year around this time, I think. It was killing. It was so beautifully executed and performed. Like you said, it had the dynamics, right?
The dynamics,
the ups and the downs, the bobs and the weaving, in and out. It's beautiful. So we're talking now, many tours later, you've developed, this protocol that you adhere to, this routine, and you got your touring muscles for sure.
Yeah. But it's like, especially like going on before or after Face, and we always, we're always, I don't want to go on after, dude, I don't want to go on after, because it ain't fair. It ain't fair. You're not going on just after Babyface. You're going on after Babyface, Tevin Campbell, Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown,
TLC, Bobby Brown, New Edition. It's like, come on.
It's not a question of, are you good enough? It's like, we're good enough, but it's like, it's just the flow of the, this is just the flow of the show, and I've become more and more comfortable, with what we do, and people know what, they know how we're coming. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And this, I think this is accredited to the fact that when you hear a KEM song, like you said, from those first 3 or 4 notes, there's no doubt in your mind, oh, this is a fucking KEM song right here. Right. This is my jam. This dude doesn't let me down, because I know when I listen to this record, his records, his body of work, his catalog, it's the vibe. He sets that same vibe every time. Like you said, whether you set it in your living room or you set it in front of 15,000 people, it's you, bro. And there's a lot of weight in that you have created your own identity.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, that's huge. And that's not blowing smoke. That's just legit. That's the real deal. Like, it's very hard to develop that as an artist.
Yeah.
You know, was that evolutionary? Of course it was, in a sense, but how in the beginning did you say, you know what, did you mastermind that? Did you say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to figure out how to do this and that. Was there any kind of pre-schematics involved?
No, I think the premise is always my premise is always, you know, ground zero for me is always just how can I be better? You know, how can I be better? How can I be competitive? Not in the sense that like I'm
right.
competing with people, but you know, how can I bring it? You know, how can I bring it? How can I keep what I'm doing fresh? You know, how can I keep the audience, you know, engaged? You know, how can I challenge myself, you know, on stage? You know, I want you to be entertained when you leave, you know, a KEM show. I want you to have an experience, you know, and not so much, you know, a party vibe, but I mean, I like to think that our shows are entertaining, that they're spiritual, that they're moving, that they're, you know, there's nothing. You know, I remember we did a Christmas show, and I started singing one of the songs from my Christmas album, man. And when I started singing the song, there was a dude in the audience. It was like he settled into his seat and like put his arm around his woman. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it was like, you know, that's what it is. You know?
It's like when you put on that Nat King Cole record, Chestnuts on an Open Fire. You know, you just like, oh man, that's comfy. Yeah.
You know, I want people to leave feeling like that. You know,
right.
You know, so there's no, you know, the only plan is to be better. You know, and to be the best version of myself, you know, on stage and on wax.
I love that. I love that. Man, that's such a perfect word of wisdom. You know, I always ask my guests about that. And I love the fact that that's your, you know, principle that you personally adhere to. If you were asked by an up and coming artist, you know, hey KEM, how do I make it today? What do I got to do? What's it going to take? You know, it seems like that's the foundation of it right there, what you said. Any other advice that you would throw at them? You know, what else?
I think the first thing, man, is like really make sure that, like, you know, you have to, and it's a dance, you know, when you're first starting out, you have to know that this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know, you have to know that, you know, everybody that wants to, you know, why your motivation is your motivation to be famous, your motivation to make some money, to just, you know, make a whole lot of money. You know, we live in a reality, you know, in this reality entertainment driven thing where everybody has got a YouTube channel and IG page, and we're all trying to have our greatest moments. And just because you can sing don't mean that you're supposed to be dedicating your entire life to this. You know what I'm saying? What you're supposed to be doing, what you think you're going to get from here, and what you're looking for from here is actually waiting for you someplace else. But you're doing this dance, right? And you're going to be trying to, you know, get a record deal until you're 75. You've missed the mark. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not to say that you can't be 75 and get a record deal, but I'm just saying, you know, make sure that this is, you know, and if you can hear all of that I just said, and you still want to pursue it, then I would say.
Then it means that it chose you and you didn't choose it, right?
Right. You know, then I would say, you know, educate yourself.
Yes.
Read, you know, there were a lot of real simple books, man, that helped me. Of course, everybody's read, you know, Donald Passman, you know, everything you need to know about the music business. I started reading it again. You know what I'm saying? Just to,
good idea.
You know, I mean, educate yourself, surround yourself with people who are, you don't have to know everything, but you should know the lingo. You should know the language, and you should be able to surround yourself with people. If you don't know, find somebody who does know. And the people who are around you right now, I read this book, man. I can't tell you who the author was, but it was a book called How to Manage Your Band.
I love that. Because Lord knows your band is always full of trouble. There's always trouble in a band.
I mean, but it was just simple stuff like, dude,
I love it.
Stop trying to connect with Irving Azoff. The guy who's most important to you right now is the guy who can fix your microphone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to, the people who are around, who are in your sphere right now, you all are coming up together right now. You know what I'm saying? So those people are important to this stage of your journey. Surround yourself with the creative people who are, those people are integral to your destiny. Y'all may not all go on the same ride and arrive at the same place, but right now in this place, they're integral to you.
This is
people who are with you right now are the ones who are going to be, part of the foundation that you're standing on to reach for the stars.
That's right.
Cherish those people. Try work with integrity. Don't work for money. If you're working for money, you're a fool. Don't chase gigs. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. You know what I'm saying? If I tell Michael Rapole that, I'm gonna do. If I tell anybody, if I tell Nomad that I'm gonna do his podcast at 5:00 on Thursday, if Oprah calls me and wants to do something at 5, I can't do it because I've made a commitment to you. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I've chased that before, and I've chased that and been wrong, and didn't get anything. You know what I'm saying? Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Pay people what you owe them. If you can't pay them, tell them you can't pay them. Don't run for nobody. Don't cross the street when you see folks. Take people's phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Return phone calls. Don't make promises that you can't keep. I mean, right? That's just life. Like, we should be doing that in every year, but that's, people should want to, when your team and your crew leave the building, people should be like,
when are they coming back? Right? Yeah. Let's get them back. They were so much fun. So good to work with. I mean, but these are the tenets of life, like you said, that why, for some reason, well, we know why, because society has been twisted by technology in a way, but it's just so many people don't adhere to these principles anymore, and it's really sad. It's frustrating. Like your follow-up game, the integrity of your word, just scheduling and budgeting. And hey, I'm so sorry, I don't have the money right now, but tell you what, by this date, I can pay you. You know what I mean? That communication. Right. Oftentimes, I'm baffled by the fact that communication seems to be missing in our industry. Just communicate. Right. So, wow. Yeah. Man, so grateful to hear all of this from you. And not only hear it from you, but I've been working with you for a while now. And you prove it to me in all of your actions. This is who you are as a person. Not that you have to prove anything you don't, but you understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't just speak this, you live it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's it's important. It's really important, man. I think that when I look back, man, it's like, my first chemistry was almost 20 years ago, wow. And, where did the time go? Yes. So, I think that, I'm grateful for it. And I have, when I sit back, it's like, I've had some things, learned a few things that have helped me along the way. So hopefully, that can be helpful for somebody else. Absolutely. Now, speaking of which, August 28th, 2020, you just dropped your 5th album, Love Always Wins. Yeah. And I am so grateful to have been a part of that. Thank you for calling me to play on a couple tunes. Always delighted to work with you. Talk about that. So this album is dope. And not only did I get to record some, but we did some other stuff. I don't know if I could talk about that yet, but. Yeah. Oh, we did. And thank you for participating. We got we did the Tiny Desk, the NPR Tiny Desk. I think that's probably airing soon if it hasn't already aired. Right. I just got word yesterday that
the other tune that you played on, the duet "Live Out Your Love" with Tony Braxton, just cracked the top 10 on Urban on UAC radio.
Congrats, man.
And Friend Today is my joint for real, like forever.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
That's my fifth studio album on the Motown label. And I always feel like my current album, my current project is the best that the best that I could be to date. And Love Always Wins is no different, man. I'm really, really, really proud of the work that we've done, and really grateful that you're a part of it, and really looking forward to having you on other stuff.
Oh man, I can't wait. Super stoked. Yeah. And then also, you have so much cool things going on. So tell me about what you're doing with Love and Marriage with your wife on social media. It looks like you guys are doing like this mini series kind of vibe.
Yeah, we shot. My wife is truly my better half.
I love that. I say that all the time. Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah.
She's. It's like the missing link. The missing link where I'm going next. She's an integral part of it. And we wanted to share our story, and like we would do things, man, and people would comment on it, and would be intrigued by it, and especially during this time where these crazy times that we're living in, just wanted to put something positive out into the world and share, an aspect of my life that people, have probably always been curious about, but we're never really, like what,
Right.
So we take, I think the last episode will air this coming weekend, and she's a DJ, so she's gigging, and she's just really I'm really proud of her, and I'm really looking forward to what comes next, for us as a couple.
Amazing. I love that. More power to you guys. So exciting. And finally, this last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Tell us about Mac and Third. So you founded this nonprofit organization, and
right.
It sounds like you're doing some really great things.
Mac and Third. Yeah, Mac and Third is a foundation that I started, and really I started it, man, because I have a background of being, homeless and in and out of shelters, and battled with addiction and depression and all of these things, man. And during the darkest periods of my life, there were organizations and people who lent me a helping hand and helped me get back on my feet. And so I started the foundation to give resources to organizations like that, especially, a lot of places are like the Salvation Army and the Detroit Rescue Mission, and a lot of organizations are funded by, people. They're to do their work, they need money, They used to be able to rely on a lot of funding from the government, and that's dwindled down to next to nothing, so wherever I can throw somebody a bone and help them do some good out in the world, that's what Mac and Third is about.
I think that's so important. That's such an integral part to what you do as an artist. That's beautiful, man. Thank you. Do you mind if we do some quick rapid fire questions for fun?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right. Favorite food?
Anything from my mother's kitchen.
Good answer, but I bet you it's amazing too. Favorite sport?
Basketball.
How do you spend your free time, assuming you have free time?
Working.
Hey, exactly, right? I say that all the time. As musicians, we don't have free time, really.
If I'm not working, I'm wrangling my kids.
There you go.
I'm wrangling my kids. Yeah, I'm either working or I'm being a dad and a husband.
On those long flights across continents, how do you enjoy your time?
I sleep.
Aha, catch up on sleep, right.
I'm sleep before the wheels leave the ground.
Oh man, I'm so jealous. I can't sleep that well on planes. So I look at my buddies who can. I'm like, oh man. Okay, what's the last song you listened to that you had no professional affiliation with?
The last song I listened to that had no.
Yeah.
Return of the Mac.
Return of the Mac.
Turn up that.
Nice.
Right. Yeah. My wife was playing it down. She was playing it. Yeah.
I love that. Wait, who cut that?
Is that?
Who is that? I was just gonna say.
I don't even know who that is. Is that
Return of the Mac? That's like.
It's not like Maxi Priest or somebody.
Maxi Priest. Is it somebody? Yeah, it's like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
I think it is the 90s.
Yeah, it is the 90s.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
We're gonna, not Terrence Trent D'Arby. No.
No, it's not Terrence Trent D'Arby.
But he's
that dude, man,
crazy, right?
Yeah, right.
What favorite TV show or movies that you're streaming now? Are you into any of that?
My favorite movie is Tombstone. It's Tombstone and The Godfather. It's like Tombstone and The Godfather. It's like right up in there.
Tombstone is the Western, right? That Western?
Tombstone is, OK Corral, Wyatt Earp.
Yes, Wyatt Earp.
Kurt Russell and...
Kurt Russell, man.
And Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a good one, man. Wow. Yeah. Okay, shopping, online or brick and mortar? Obviously, without COVID.
Online.
Okay. Nice.
Online.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, right. Because I'm in the store, man, and like I was in the mall a few years ago, trying to buy something real simple, man, and the person who was serving me was just really, I'm like, dude, really? And then the light bulb went off. I'm like, why am I even in here?
I don't have to be here. I was going to say, that was a stupid question for you because you probably get mobbed when you go to the store. So
why am I even in here?
You got to be careful. Like, look, you've collaborated with so many great people, but if there was a dream collaboration, what would it be?
Sade.
I already hear it. That's amazing. I could see the both of you making music together. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Good one. And finally, the proverbial drum roll. What would you do if you weren't KEM, the artist, the musical artist? If you weren't a career musician, what do you think you'd end up be doing?
Waiting tables.
Like so many of us. I say that all the time. I'm like, there's nothing else to do. What am I going to do, right?
Right. Wait till right. You know what I'm saying?
It chose us. In that sense,
you know what I'm saying? I didn't prepare for anything else.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah.
Man, KEM, I am so grateful that you took the time once again. We appreciate you, brother, and I appreciate you, and I'm just glad to call you a friend.
No, man. It's been a pleasure, man, and looking forward to making more great music with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Binge previous seasons of the Career Musician Podcast and subscribe for all new episodes.
Follow The Career Musician on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on the latest news and tips from the world's leading musicians.
I'm just a nomad, nowhere man, writing the songs in this one-man band. A nomad, yeah. I'm a nomad, So hush now, darling, you'll be fine.
Hey, this is Nomad, host and creator of the Career Musician Podcast, and I am thoroughly stoked to be an official member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Pantheon Podcast Network is the first of its kind as an all-music-based podcast collective. Please be sure to check us out at pantheonpodcast.com for more info.